Amazing.
All right, so I am Leilani, and you are tuned in to the Boss Woman Network podcast. I have Miss Sasha here today, Sasha Lewis. So tell us about yourself.
Thank you for having me. So, I am a brand strategist and a digital marketer. I have my own digital marketing agency. I'm a full-time single mom, and I'm just like everyone else who's a female, just trying to make our place in the world, trying to make impact in the world, and not be part of the boy club anymore.
Yes, I get it. How did you get into digital marketing?
I got into digital marketing. I started actually designing retail stores. So, out of college, I was designing retail stores, working in retail development, and did that for about 6 years. I ended up getting married, wanted to start a family, and knew I couldn't be traveling every week. So, I decided to take my skill set into the online world. And over the course of time from freelancing, I was able to then take it full time into my own business.
Okay, so what were you doing in the online world with your digital branding?
So I was doing a lot of brand strategy consulting. I was doing a lot of brand strategy development, branding, graphic design, web design, and then it shifted more so into social media management over the past year.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of challenges have you faced in your business?
Oh, child. There have been quite a few. I think the main challenge that I've faced is balancing all the different areas of my life. Like I said, I'm a full-time single mom. My daughter is autistic, so having the disability side of things as well adds a whole nother layer to it. So being able to not only balance work and mom life, but also where's time for me and balancing that as well. And also, I think there's such a big emphasis on fast growth and instant gratification and being able to separate myself from needing to grow as quickly as possible to being more focused on sustained growth and being able to still allow myself to build a life outside of business.
Mm, yeah, I'm sure that can be a challenge.
Yeah.
As far as social media management, um, what is your, are you able to build brands on social media by managing their companies? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do quite a bit. So, depending on where the brand is, it's either helping them, like a startup, helping them build their brand from the idea to now marketing and getting clients or customers, or it's just taking existing brands and helping them build up more visibility, more awareness, more growth in what they've already created for themselves.
What is your success rate with that as far as building it up? Like with follower base?
Sure. I mean, it's I've had so many different clients and it's really dependent on each client. Some clients have been able to see a wide growth in terms of following count. Some are not so focused on followers, they're more so focused on sales. And that's where I kind of like to sit. I'm less about how much of a following are we building and more so how much are we converting that following into sales. One client in particular was able to 5 times her revenue or her return on investment in me within 2 weeks' time.
Two
Other
weeks.
clients. Yeah, we hit the ground running. And that's I don't want to make that the norm because it's not the norm. So I don't want people
Okay.
coming to me being like, I want to see 5 times in 2 weeks'
Like,
time.
after this is over, I gotta call you. No.
That's not the norm. But it does go to show that, I think in that instance, a lot of people think when you outsource social media management, you get to take your foot off the gas, you get to chill out. And that's not the case. For her, she was very much a partner and a collaborator with me. So she was still showing up on her stories. She was still having conversations. She was still selling her services, which is required. I'm just making sure your content and the way that you show up online helps the brand perception. So you're not having objections with your pricing. You're not having people come in and take up your time that aren't able to even invest in you. So I think that's kind of where that collaboration really, really worked. For other brands, when I first got started, more so in the retail side of things, we were able to secure multi-million dollar brand deals with partners. It was corporate America, so they had the leeway and leverage to do so. But each brand it's so different depending on goals, and I really try to customize it and say more so, yes, you want sales, yes, you want growth, we all want those things, but where do you want to be 3 years from now? Because the action steps we take today dictates where you're going to be 3 years from now. So if you want to have a separate entity, following or growing a following count isn't going to build the separate entity, you know? So it's really a matter of customization in that standpoint.
Wow. So what kind of companies do you work with? Do you work with podcasts or do you work with clothing stores? What are some of your clientele?
We don't have a niche in the industry. That's something that I'm really big on. I never wanted to niche down the type of companies I worked with because I never wanted to say, okay, I'm only going to work with med spas, for instance. Well,
Right.
then I'm creating competition for my clients, and that's not a good look for me either because now I have to outperform each client that I
True.
have.
True.
So for me, it was very much open-ended. I've worked with retailers, I've worked with doctors, I've worked with podcast, more so the back end of podcasts, like the podcast developers. I've worked with mindset coaches, business coaches, copywriters, social media managers, brand strategists, gyms, personal trainers, dance studios, you name it, I've probably dabbled in it.
Wow.
It's so much fun.
I see. You sound like it's something that you love too.
I
So
do.
I want to go back to the podcast section since you have worked with podcasts and since
Yeah.
you're on a podcast. Tell me, what do you do? What did you do to help a podcast? What was the process in that? What did you do to help them grow?
For her, it wasn't that she had a podcast at that time. She does now. But for her, she was more so helping people get their podcast off the ground. So it
Oh,
was
okay.
the editing, it was the management of it, it was the uploading, scheduling topics, finding guests, those types of things. So
Okay.
for her, it was really connecting her with the right people. And a big part of what I do that I feel like no one else really does is while we're doing your social media, there's still outward action that needs to be taken. So I call it shooting your shot. That's kind of like what I've been branded as online. It's, how are we pitching your services? How are we connecting with the right people? How are we just asking for a conversation instead of waiting for people to come to you and ask a question because you're going to be sitting on your butt waiting forever for that.
Right.
How can we collapse the time in doing those things? I have not worked with an actual podcast, but I've worked with YouTube channels, which I feel like are similar in theory. Yeah. So it's really about that personal branding standpoint. It's about, what makes your podcast different? What about you, the host, is different? Why would people want to tune in? And then how can we share parts of you that people then say, I feel like her best friend. Like I want to be in her world. I want to listen to more of what she has to say because it's so valuable.
I like that. So you
Yeah.
have worked with some YouTube channels, and did once you worked with them, how did their base grow? Did their subscribers grow?
Subscribers grew, more so watch time and watchers grew, which was the best part. But
Yes.
subscribers did grow, and with that it led into at the time this was around like 2018. So at that time, blogging was really big. So there was
Right.
a collaboration that we did with YouTube videos and blogging. And with that, it was leveraging Pinterest and being able to get the blog up and running to get brand deals, brand partnerships. So it was more so in that category. But follower count definitely went up, subscribers went up, watch time went up, views went up, all those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for someone to sign up with you, what type of services do you actually offer to kind of narrow it down so they can truly understand what you do?
Absolutely. So I offer three core things. Social media management, and that's on any platform you want to be on, we tackle. There is brand strategy, which is kind of, I guess you could kind of consider like business coaching, but it's more so really figuring out what your brand is, how it's different, how we position you to stand out in the market because it's so saturated. And then third would be web design. And those are the three core services that we have.
Okay. That's uh,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, so tell me, um, what made you get into this business in the first place? I know you said you did retail development.
Yeah.
What made you so interested in this part of it?
I think it was a natural skill set that I had. I found that when I was doing retail stores, it was a lot of merchandising, a lot of storytelling within the store. Like I was designing the store, the inside, the feel of it. So it was a lot of storytelling from a visual side of things. And naturally, that's just something that I was always good at. I grew up a competitive dancer. Like storytelling has just always been ingrained in who I am.
Okay.
So the next thing that made the most sense was doing this in the digital sphere. What had really transpired was I was I have mental health struggles, all the things. And at that point in time, this was about 2016, it was still such a taboo topic. And so I decided to start a blog and I just did it strictly for myself. And with that blog, I started to see rapid growth and I was able to grow the blog to about 500,000 readers in time. I shut the blog down, but at that point, I was able to see, yeah, I was able to see that there was a skill set here that I needed to leverage. So that kind of introduced me to the digital world. Then at that point in time, I was doing marketing management for a doctor. I had gotten pregnant and then I actually got fired while I was in labor. And so,
That is
yeah,
crazy.
it was very
That
crazy.
sounds like a lawsuit.
So it was a lawsuit.
Okay.
But at that point, it really just kind of led me to think, okay, well, I now have a newborn. I can't just, go off and start interviewing. I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom at that point in time. So I figured now's the best time to just see what I can make happen for myself. And that's really when the business started. And because the blog had so much readership, a lot of my initial clients were actually readers from my blog, and it just kind of started to
Oh.
build out from that. So it kind of just built itself in theory, but
Mhm.
I think to answer your question, it's just always been something that I've been interested in, the whole storytelling aspect
Mhm.
of visuals, really.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. So it started from there. So now, since you've transitioned, how do you market yourself outside of the people that already knew about you from that?
Yeah. Social media is obviously a part of it. I've always been someone, I'm not afraid to ask. So if I see that someone has a weak spot or if I see if someone could benefit from what I do, I politely and consensually try to start a conversation in that route. And that's been how I've been able to grow. My business up until this year was 98% referrals. So I never really had to market that much.
Wow.
I had people referring me out, which was amazing. This year, I really wanted to start the exponential growth phase. So it's been a lot of intentional marketing, but also it's been a lot of intentional conversations too, of just cold pitching myself. And I think cold pitching has such a negative connotation to it, but when done correctly, it can really get you in the right rooms at the right time.
For someone that doesn't know, what is cold pitching?
Cold pitching is starting a conversation without any initial connection. So for me, like for instance, locally, if I see that a restaurant, their website maybe is super slow, or maybe the images are super low quality, it's not giving anyone who visits that site the best impression of what the food would taste like. So I would then email them and say, hey, I found your website. I'm a local. I see some areas on your website. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm a local. I found your website and I see some areas on your website that could use some help. And I list them out too, just they know I'm not trying to just, waste their time. So I give them some feedback and say these three areas would really benefit you, but if you would like to go in depth, I would love to have a conversation with you. And I leave it at that. If they want to respond, great. If they don't, great. But just taking that initial step really puts you in a whole nother category because a lot of people won't do that. They don't have the confidence to do that.
Right. And that's online. That's without even going. Do you go face to face as well?
I have yet to. I mean, if I'm networking, if I'm at an event or whatever, then I will. But it's all online. It's all through DMs or emails. Now, going in person does have a higher success rate. It's just a matter of being able to find the time to get in person. But things that I have done in the past for clients is putting together like a little, like what I call a PR box. So you get a little box with your logo on it. You add in like a brochure, a flyer. I've added in like popcorn or something like that, like a little treat. And then you can just hand deliver it and say, hey, I'm a local business. I would love to connect with you. I wanted to drop this off. And you leave it in their court. You leave the ball in their court, I should say. But I think allowing people to decide what to do with information is the best course.
That's good. That way you're not like pushing yourself on them too much. Making
Yeah, because sales can be cringy and people don't like being sold to, but
right.
people also have problems that need solutions and they don't necessarily know what the solution is.
True. And it's hard to, as a business person, to decipher whether or not it's a scam. We get all kind of, because I
Absolutely.
receive those emails that you're talking about, and I'd be like, I don't know if that's a scam or not. They could be trying
Yeah.
to
Some things that I have found to be successful, at least with my emails, isn't obviously including my website, including my social media so they can see I'm a real person. but then also having what we call like a media kit. And this is a little bit different for businesses, but just having like a success rate kit. So it's a little bit about me, a little portfolio of my work, some testimonials, and some screenshots of proof that things have occurred, right? Like proof of concept. That way they can go off and do their own due diligence without, the follow-up email saying, "Hey, did you get my email yesterday? Like, do you
Right,
want to work together?" That's
right.
off-putting, but it's just allowing them to see what's available to them.
That's a great tip for those out there that's trying to market their business and get more
Absolutely.
to be able to go through the email and know how to do it rather than sending an email,
Yeah,
making the person feel like you're a possible scammer.
exactly.
That
Exactly.
that would make me feel better to receive something like that, where I get to see your email. I get, well, not your email, but your website, your
Sure.
Instagram or your social media handles, and see some of your work and your testimonials and things like that.
Yeah, and something that I also find to be beneficial as well is the subject line. Instead of like, want to elevate your business today, that sounds like a scam. But I
Yeah.
always put their business X, my business partnership. So I always put partnership. So it'd be like Leilani and Sasha partnership. And they're like, well, what do you want to partner on? And then it feels collaborative versus like trying to sell them into something.
Wow. That definitely sounds better. I actually received something like that in my Instagram recently. Someone was asking
Yeah.
for partnership. And I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sure. But then they went into this whole sales pitch. So it's like they still
Yeah.
didn't know what to do.
Exactly. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't know how to go about it the right way.
Yeah, because the whole sales pitch threw me off. But I'm like, why, when people have a job, they're trying to sell something, they're trying to do business with you, but then it's coming off the wrong way.
Yes. Yes, it does. It often does come off the wrong way. And then you're just like, I'm never going to do business with you.
So, what are some of the things that you're promoting right now?
Right now, I am promoting actually a shoot your shot challenge. I just did this last month and it was great. Where I teach you how to do all of this actually. It's for free. It's a 7-day challenge where you can learn how to pitch yourself and do it the right way. I had in my challenge, we did it for 30 days. I had one girl 3 times her income that month just by taking this action. Yes. And
Wow.
I have the receipts that I can show for it too. But she was able to hit her goal for the month in a way that she never knew that she could just by putting herself out there and taking some aligned action the right way and knowing what to say and how to say it. So that's something that I'm really promoting right now. And then, of course, any sort of social media management or brand strategy collaborative effort too.
So, how do people find you if they want to sign up for you?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Sasha Monique Creates or my website, which is iniciocreative.com, and that's INICIO creative.com.
Is that the name of your business?
Inicio Creative, yes.
Where does what struck the nerve? I mean, what
Yeah.
inspired that name?
Yeah, yeah. So before my business was just my name, Sasha Monique Creative, but I found that I was getting tired of having to constantly be the face of the business. And I also wanted to expand to an agency where I had a team and whatnot. And so I needed a name, and my mom is great with names. And so she was like, we need something that just sounds different. And she actually found the word Inicio, which means fresh starts, new beginnings, clear
Oh,
action. And I was like, that's it. That's the one. So
I like
um
that.
so that was the name that, yeah. And then also I have a second business, which is a magazine, a digital publication, and we're launching our fourth issue mid-May, and you can find that at detailedmag.com, which is DTLDMAG.com, Detailed Mag.
So, for your magazine, what type of things do you highlight in your magazine? And if someone wanted to get you know, have their businesses
Absolutely.
magazine, what would they need to do?
Yeah, so I like to say it's like Vogue and Forbes had a baby. It's all business, entrepreneurship, marketing, branding, but with a very art and culture element to it. It's a little driven more towards Los Angeles. We really try to amplify the Los Angeles scene and downtown LA scene. But we have a business directory that people can sign up to be a part of that also gets put on the website. We have advertising opportunities. We do creator features, so anyone who has a business or a talent that wants to be featured, we do Q&A interviews, and we've had some amazing features. So yeah, that's kind of like my passion project that's really kind of grown some legs to it.
And they don't have to be from LA.
No,
Anywhere.
we keep it anywhere, but in terms of articles in the art and culture field, we keep it more geared towards Los Angeles.
Got it. Got it. And is that where you are right now?
Yes.
Got it. Got it. And speaking of that, how are things out there now since all of the fires and everything?
Yes, everything in terms of weather is good. PCH, which is the main highway that all the fires happen, it's still closed down. They're still
Oh,
doing a lot of debris removal and rebuilding. Um, a lot of people are still displaced and with their
oh,
homes, which is horrible. But there's a lot of community efforts, I have to say, in just helping these families get the funds they need, get the things they need to make life feel a little bit more life like how they had it.
okay. Well, before
Yeah.
we get out of here, we'll keep you on. What could you say? What piece of advice could you give to inspire someone else that may want to start a business or even go into the field that you're in?
Just start. I think we all are so focused on making sure everything is perfect and exactly how we want it. But I think for myself and my clients, at least, I can speak for the times when we took messy action and just said, you know what, we're just going to do it. And then we'll revisit and readjust as we go. Those are the moments where we have all seen the biggest growth. And I think that perfection is more so your subconscious way of keeping you safe and keeping you where you're at versus just allowing yourself to learn as you go.
Yeah, that is definitely my motto too. I just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Just go.
Just
Yes.
go. Learn as
It'll
you go.
all fall into place too. All the
Yeah.
pieces will make sense as you go, but you just have to say, now we're going.
Yes, I tell people that all the time. Just start. Don't worry about
Yes.
tomorrow. Just start today. Tomorrow, things will start falling in place as you go.
It's so true though. It's so true.
Most definitely. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in and sitting here with me on the Boss Woman Network podcast. You gave out some very helpful marketing tips
I'm so glad.
and definitely would like to have my guests to connect with you, maybe need your services, even some advice, and definitely join your challenge that you have,
Yes.
especially if the
Absolutely.
success rate was like that, three times.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
so before we go, one more time, give out your social media handles and how they can find you.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Sasha Monique Creates, and you'll just find everything there. So I'll just leave it there.
Sasha
Everything is there.
Monique Creates.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, and you have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.